Hello everyone, how are we doing tonight? So, today for Fate's Day night, we are on Fate Route Day 12, which, taking a look at the flowchart here, it's very low stakes, very chill, which is really needed after what happened last time? Because last time we defeated Berserker. So, I guess without any further ado, let's get into it. Oh, also, I do have a headache, so I might have to end stream early, but I really hope not. Alright. Let's get into day 12. The sky is thin. Is it dawn or dusk? As I am watching from outside, I cannot tell. A vast sky and a high field. A sky that seems unreachable even with arms outstretched. And clouds that do seem reachable with arms outstretched. This is a battle she once went through. There are no cavalry alongside. The grassland, once golden as far as the eye could see, is gone. Under the dark gray sky, the only thing stretching out is the remains of battle, which she is well accustomed to. There is no emotion. For her, such scenes must have been ordinary. There is nothing left in her lonely heart. Leaning on her golden sword, she breathes deeply once and slowly relaxes her shoulders. The battle must be over. After glancing at the bodies of the defeated soldiers, she returns to her camp. That was the battle she experienced. The calm attitude is the same as now. No matter what trouble she's in, she is just as I know her. And in that way, I see the dream of a king. From the moment she drew the sword from the stone, she was not human. After becoming a feudal lord like her father, she became a king with many knights. She was called King Arthur, or Arturia, and the girl who had tried to become a knight had her life turned around. She acted as the son of the king. That is because the one to govern many territories and control the knights had to be male. The only ones who knew that the king was just a girl were her father and the magus. She literally covered herself in steel and sealed that truth for all her life. Of course, it's not like no one grew suspicious of her, but the king of knights with the holy sword will not suffer wounds or age. Excalibur bears the protection of the fairies, making its possessor immortal. Therefore, nobody questioned the knight's small body, and the face that seemed like that of a girl became honored by the knights as a good-looking king. Of course, such things were not a problem. The king was truly invincible. There was no room for body size nor looks to enter into it. The people living in fear of savage invasions wanted a strong king, and the knights of the battlefield would only follow an excellent commander. The king met all of these criteria, and so no one questioned who the king was. It doesn't matter if the king is a child or a woman. The only point is that it must function as the king to protect the country. The new king was fair and selfless, and always stood in front of the army, defeating enemies on the battlefield. Many enemies and many people died, but the king's choices were always correct, and she served as the king better than anyone else. There was no doubt and no need for doubt while the king was right. Knowing no loss on the battlefield, her army reconstructed the now lost cavalry and literally ran through the battlefield, defeating foreign infantries and crashing through numerous ramparts. Was she always in the front of the army because her country was behind her? She had to discard many people to join battle. As long as she joined battle, she had to defeat all her enemies. It was normal practice to meet military needs by sucking everything out of the local village for the battle to protect the country. In that regard, there could not be any knights that killed more people than her. I do not know if she ever found that a burden. That is not something I can tell from a dream. But there is no doubt in her figure running through the battlefield. She does not even narrow her eyes in grief when she sits on the throne. A king is not human. One cannot protect the people with human emotions. She kept that oath strictly. She settled every problem and worked hard in government affairs. She balanced the country without any deviations and punished people without a single mistake. And after ending yet another battle in victory, commanding the people without disorder and punishing hundreds of criminals, King Arthur does not understand human feelings. A knight close to her murmured, So fun fact, that was said by Sir Tristan, and in Fate Grand Order, he has a skill that is based on the fact that he said that. It was called, like, oh god, what was it called? Hold on, I'm looking it up. Tristan. Let's see, it's one of his active skills, right? Admonishment to the King of Knights. Yeah. Perhaps everyone felt that way. It's just wild to think it has that much of an impact that it's literally one of his skills. It removes enemies' buffs and reduces their critical attack chance. The more perfect she became as the king, the more they questioned her as a ruler. A person without human emotion cannot rule over others. Several reputable knights left Camelot, but the king took it as a natural event and accepted it as part of the process of government. Thus, the fair king honored by her knights isolated herself. But such trivial things are of no concern to a king. Her mind will not change even if she is abandoned, feared, or betrayed. There's no right or wrong. She abandoned her emotions from the moment she decided to pull out the sword. And in that way, her final battle began. The battle at Badon Hill ended in a complete victory, and because of the overwhelming results, the savages sought a reconciliation. The country that would have just awaited destruction earned a brief period of peace. The chaos that demanded an absolute hero has ended. Britain is finally returning to the country she has dreamed of. The scene starts to fade away. Somewhere in my head, I realize that I'm waking up and the dream is ending. I will lose consciousness and wake up soon. But before that, something really annoys me. She's stupid. Certainly, she must have been strong and good at fighting, but that doesn't mean she's well suited for it. I'm also angry at the people around her. If she didn't notice it, someone else around her had to tell her, or she'd keep making the same mistake forever. Jeez, she had so many people around her, so why did none of them tell her the truth? I wake up. We escaped Ilia's forest and came back to this house yesterday afternoon. Tosika went back to her room, saying that the wound in her stomach was hurting, and I also wanted to go to sleep since my headache was still around. It must also have been because I carried something heavy all the way here. When I got to my room and lay down, I couldn't even get back up. Saber was the only one unhurt, so Tosika and I went to sleep, letting her keep watch over the house, and
半日眠ってたわけか。さすがに頭痛は収まってるな。
Wish I could relate. I'm relieved. The thing with Berserker. The headache that started when I duplicated Saber's sword was terrible. If that headache continued, my head would have broken before my body did. Wait. Saber is sitting Japanese style beside my futon.
なんだよ、朝から辛気臭い顔して。俺が眠ってる間に何かあったのか？
いいえ、ただ夢を見てしまったもので。いえ、何でもありません。それより朝食にしましょう、シロ。もう起きる時間です。
Saber gets up and leaves the room quietly. I don't know why Saber's acting so weird. I don't know, but...
枕元に正座してたってことは、看病しててくれたのかな?
As soon as I think so, I recall that scene.
何考えてんだ?
I shake my head and clear the thoughts out of my head. That night, Saber and I touched one another because I'm her master. That is a weird thing to say. I hope you realize that, Shiro. I have to think like that, or I won't be able to look at her properly.
平常心。昨日帰ってくるときはいつも通りだったじゃないか。それでいいんだ。それで。
Well, no, I was just too tired yesterday, but stay calm anyways. First of all, Saber will be troubled if I act like this.
よし。とにかく落ち着いて朝飯作らないと。
I take a deep breath and start changing. It's 9 in the morning. Saber must be really hungry as we haven't eaten since yesterday afternoon. Hello, Wind! Welcome, welcome. I guess you can't call it morning now that it's past 9. So basically, everybody made it home safe from the forest. Senora playable after 3 years. Oh, the TCG copium. But yeah, so everybody made it home safe from the forest after last week's little escapade. Shiro had a dream about Saber's past again, and that is basically all that you have missed so far. Considering Saber, I'll make a fairly large meal.
Shiro, 今朝は私とあなただけですが、凛を起こさなくていいのですか？
ああ、みんなまだ寝てるんだろ。昨日が昨日だし、無理に起こすこともない。飯は作っておけば勝手に食べるだろうし。
そうですか。それでは早めに支度をしてもらえると助かります。もうこんな時間になってしまいましたから。
分かってる。体の調子もいいし、食べ終わったら道場に行こ
う。え、道場に行くとは、まだ私と剣の鍛錬を続けるのですか？
なんで？日課じゃないか、あれ。どうした、セイバー。なんか変なこと言ったか、俺。
あ、いえ。もう鍛錬はしないのだろうと勝手に思い込んでいました。
Let me look at the flowchart real quick. So we're on day 12 right now. This route goes up to day 15. So we've got a few more weeks of Saber's route. But we are getting somewhat close to the end of it.
バーサーカーが倒れた今、シローがそこまで必死になる理由はなくなったのではないかと。
そっか。言われてみればそうかもしれない。
Tosaka, Saber, and I, our common enemy is now gone. We cooperated because we were targeted by an enemy superior to us, and that's why I trained as well. Forfeit all food to Saber. Real.
でも鍛錬は続けるぞ。俺はまだ半人前だし、セイバーは剣を持つと本音を出すからな。 その方が俺も話してて楽だ。
Why do we have hands? There are many reasons. Pat the saber. Cherish the saber. Forfeit all food to the saber. Well, when I say it's a help, I mean it's fun.
はあ、道場での私は本音を出しているのでしょうか。
出してるよ。少なくとも気兼ねはしてないだろう。俺もその方が楽だし、セイバーも肩の力が抜けていいんじゃないか。ともかく午前中はセイバーと剣を合わせるのが日課なんだ。数少ない俺の楽しみを取らないでくれ。
Pat the saber. Pat her. I take ground beef and pork, mushroom, onion, and eggs out of the refrigerator and head to the kitchen. I'll also need breadcrumbs, alcohol, salad oil, and...
はあ、そういうことでしたら私も反論はありませんが。
Pat the saber. Oh, dude, him talking about cooking just now made me think. We should do like an Emiya Gohan watch party at some point. Emiya Gohan is today's menu for the Emiya family, or Emiya Sanchi no Kyo no Gohan. It's a cooking anime spin-off, slice of life cooking anime spin-off. And it's adorable. It's precious. Saber murmurs something in the living room. I'm already in the kitchen, so I unfortunately couldn't hear her. I start mixing. I mix onion, breadcrumbs, alcohol, egg, and salt, and put it in with the beef and pork. I've decided to cook Japanese-style hamburger for breakfast.
リン、目が覚めたのですか？
I can hear Saber's voice from the living room.
父さか？
I turn around while cooking.
おはよう。ごめん、牛乳飲ませて、シロ。
God, she's so me. That's me in the morning. Tosaka comes over with an unhappy face and takes some milk out of the refrigerator.
寝すぎて頭痛い。ってあれ？何？朝から凝ってるじゃない。
Where did that bad mood from earlier go? Her eyes gleam as soon as she turns to me.
へえ、美味しそう。ちょうどお腹も減ってたし、助かったわ。
I see, but you're the one that benefits, not me. That must be what my father said. For someone to benefit, someone must lose.
前から思ってたんだが、お前割と目ざといよな。
あら、人並みに目端が利くだけよ。それじゃあ、私の分もよろしくね。
Waving her hand, Tosaka returns to the living room. With a glass of milk in one hand, she takes position at the table. No. Should I say she's really relaxing or acting like royalty?
だらけていますね、リン。
Alright, way to go, Saber. She sure is good at saying difficult things. But... Tosaka waves off Saber's criticism lazily like she doesn't care.
そりゃだらけもするわよ。バーサーカーがいなくなった今、あとはキャスターとランサーとアサシンでしょ。バーサーカーに比べたら大した敵じゃないし、今のセーバーなら余裕で撃退できるじゃない。それはわかりません。ランサーもアサシンも一筋縄で行く相手ではない。キャスターに至ってはまだ出会ってもいないではないですか。謙遜謙遜。アーサー王の手にかかっちゃそんじょそこらの英霊なんて10羽一からげでしょ。今までは魔力不足で嘆いてたけど、それも解決したし、今のセイバーに対抗できるサーバントなんて一人もいないわ。
Saber narrows her eyes at Tosaka's words. I feel the same way. The thing Tosaka just said can't be ignored lightly.
父さか。お前セイバーが誰かって気づいてたのか。
うすうすね。確信が持てたのは昨日よ。あれだけの政権を扱える英雄なんて一人しかいないもの。まあ伝説のアーサー王が女の子っていうのには驚いたけど、目の前にいるんじゃ信じるしかないじゃない。それに伝説なんて都合よく改ざんされたものでしょ。セイバーが隠したのか周囲が隠したのか知らないけど、確かに中世の王様が女の子ってのは都合が悪いものね。そりゃ誰が何と言おうと男として扱うわよ。
Tosuka has the same tone of voice as always. Saber doesn't seem to care that much either. She rather seems to be agreeing with Tosuka's opinion and shows no sign of denying anything. So she has clearly admitted that it's true. A hero related to swords is chosen for the servant saber. From that perspective, she is certainly the best saber there could be. The great hero of England, the bearer of the holy sword that everybody even in this distant country has heard of. But if that's the case, then what? The end of the legend of King Arthur ends with the king's death. No, they're still human, even though they are heroes. It's only natural for their last moment to end in death, but no hero dies normally. King Arthur was no exception. I remember that the end of King Arthur was in a war, the Great Battle of Camlan. Having unified Britain and with no outside enemies to defeat, King Arthur faced an unexpected enemy in the end. The enemy was her own army that she protected. Because of a betrayal by the ones she trusted, King Arthur was attacked by the knights she had fought with, and it is said that the king had to defeat them. King Arthur succeeded in defeating the enemy leader, but took a fatal wound in the process and entrusted her only surviving knight, Sir Bedivere, with the return of the Holy Sword. Go past this bloody battlefield and the hill. There should be a lake there. Throw this sword into that lake. But Bedivere could not follow the order. Fearing the loss of the sword, Bedivere gave a false report the first and the second time, saying that he had thrown the sword into the lake. Every time, King Arthur would order Bedivere to throw the sword away, and the order was followed on the third trip. And it is said that King Arthur died after ascertaining that the holy sword had been returned.
それよりシロ、あんたこれからどうする気よ。
And then, Tosuka suddenly glares at me.
どうするって何をだよ。
だから和室で寝てる物騒な子供のことよ。放っておけって言ったのに、ここまで連れてきたのはあんたじゃない。
それについては私も言いたい。バーサーカーを失ったとはいえ、イリアスフィールは危険なマスターだ。それを保護するなど、シロはどうかしています。
そうそう。あんなのは綺麗に預けちまえばいいのよ。
The two judge this a good time and glare at me together. That's right. Ilya fainted after Berserker disappeared. I couldn't just leave her be, since she showed no sign of waking up, so I brought her here. Tosuka and Saber objected, so I was the one who carried her. A master who loses their servant has to run away or go to the church for protection before they're killed by other masters. Tosuka says we should let Kotomine take care of her, but I'm letting her sleep in a room here since I don't think he would take very good care of her. She's just a baby, she's just a little guy. Real.
シロ、あなたの考えは立派ですが、イリアスフィールに関わるのは危険です。今ならまだ間に合う。早々に教会に預けるか、その令状を剥奪するべきだ。
He's never done anything wrong. Real. Ilya has never done anything wrong in her entire life. Your Honor, you have no evidence of wrongdoing. Saber glares at me. She's serious. Convincing her will be really difficult.
なんだよ。だってほっとくわけにはいかないだろう。イリアはまだ子供なんだし、様子もおかしかった。琴峰に預けるのはなんかかわいそうだし。
かわいそう。あんたね、あの子にあんな目に遭わされてまだそんな寝ぼけたこと言うわけ？
Your Honor, she's just being a bit silly. She's just a bit goofy. God forbid woman be silly.
同感です。シローはイリアスフィールに感情移入しすぎています。彼女は何度もシローを殺そうとしたではないですか。
God forbid girls have hobbies. The two are even more united now. But I can't let them talk me out of it.
確かにイリアは敵だったけど、あいつに邪気はなかった。ちゃんと言いつけてやるやつがいれば、イリアはもうあんなことはしない。それに一番初めに言ったはずだ。俺はマスターを殺すために戦うんじゃない。戦いを終わらせるために戦うだけだって。
それは分かってはいますが。
Saber doesn't agree, but her voice softens. But...
そう。それじゃあイリアスフィールのしたことを全部許すっていうの？言っとくけど、あの子は私たち以外のマスターも襲っている。もしかしたらもう何人かマスターを殺しているかもしれない。それでもあなたは助けてやるっていうのね。
Oh yeah, I mean, we know of one that she killed, and honestly, she did the world a service by doing that.
それは。
That's right. Ilya admitted it. She killed Shinji. Shinji used Ryder to try to kill the students at school. If those were his intentions as a master, I guess his death couldn't be helped. But still, Shinji is a friend I've known for years, and thinking about his sister, Sakura, I can't forgive everything Ilya did. Shiro, the world is a better place without Shinji Mato in it.
けど、それじゃ終わりがないだろ。イリアがマスターで亡くなって、自分のしたことを悔やめるようになるのなら、俺は助けるべきだと思う。
そうね。それは正しい。けどシロー、私はアーチャーのことを帳消しにする気はないの。私のアーチャーはあいつに殺されたんだから。
Everybody freezes. We freeze, looking at each other. And...
何よ。サーバントなんて最後にはみんな消えちゃうじゃない。そんなこと気にしてるなんて、マスター失格ね、リン。
The girl appears. The girl under discussion, who should be asleep, appears. How did I predict what Shiro was about to say?
イリアスフィール。
待ちなさい。あなたたちに用はないわ。戦う気もないから、そんなに生きり立たないでくれない？ほんと、同じレディーとして恥ずかしいわ。私よりずっと年上なのに、たしなみってものがないんだから。
Ilya shrugs her shoulders as if to show her shock.
なんですって？
Saber and Tosuka get mad together. They are scarier in a different sense.
まあ、それも怒らないであげる。今はあなたたちに構ってる場合じゃないもの。
Saying that, Ilya turns to me. Is this an illusion?
イリア。
礼を言います、セイバーのマスター。敵であった我が身まで気遣うその心遣い、心より感謝いたしますわ。
She's so polite when she wants to be. I stare at Ilya in surprise. Saber is silent as well, so she might not have expected it either. Tosuka is drinking milk and looking at Ilya suspiciously. And then, Ilya gives her usual smile and...
なんてね。やっぱりシロはお兄ちゃんだ。
She comes straight for me and hugs my neck. I choke at the surprise attack.
何者？
Tosuka is choking on the milk she's drinking. Saber gets mad but keeps a straight face.
離れなさいこの無礼者
Saber runs to me, but Ilya spins around behind me, using my neck as a fulcrum.
無礼者はどっちよ。サーバントのくせに私に意見しようなんて100年早いわ。
あなたに従う義務もなければ意思もありません減らず口を言う暇があるなら今すぐ城から離れなさい
そんなの聞かないよーだ。ねえシロ、昨日みたいにしよう。あれ、本部って言うんだよね。
Oh god. Ilya twirls and twirls. Saber goes around to try to catch her. This is bad. This is really bad. The two's stare down doesn't end. It must be because she's watching from a distance. Tosuka wipes the milk off her mouth as if nothing is happening.
どうでもいいんだけどね、二人とも。そのままだとそいつ死ぬわよ。
The two look at my face in surprise. Yes, my neck is being choked and my life's in danger. I'm in a real pinch right now. Well, let's check the current situation. The hamburger I was making is in the refrigerator right now. First, Tosuka is the quiet one. It seems she's keeping a poker face and trying to see how things turn out, but who knows what she's thinking on the inside.
何シロ
Ilya is sitting next to me, and she's in a good mood for some reason. She's looking around the living room curiously, but it seems like Tosuka and Saber are none of her concern. Tosuka, I'm the only normal one here, Rin. It's that meme of like a bunch of people all individually thinking, God, all these people are weird. Thank God I'm the only normal one here. That's what's going on in this house right now. She probably wouldn't listen even if they talked to her. And the hardest one to deal with is Saber, who is glaring restlessly at me and Ilya. Being restless and uneasy is totally unlike her. Because of her, I feel like I'm sitting on a cushion full of needles. So I can't let things stay like this. I don't know what will come out of this, but I have to make up my mind and escape the current situation.
話をつけよう。いつまでもこうしてちゃ昼になっちまう。
そうね。結論は決まっているし、問題は早めに片付けた方がいいわ。そうでしょ、セイバー。
そうですね私とリンの意見は同じですからあとはシローに納得してもらうだけですが
Saber is ready to fight it out to the very end. Well, I guess it can't be helped, since Ilya was the most difficult enemy for Saber.
ねえシロー、リンとセイバーは何を話したがってるの？
いや、そのイリアをどうするかっていう話なんだが、イリアはサーバントを亡くしただろ。だからこの後どうしたものかなって。
そんなの決まってるでしょ。教会に保護させるか森の城に追い返すのよ。どちらにしたってここにいさせる選択肢はないからね。シローもそう思ってるの？
Look at her, she's baby. Exactly. Ilya looks up at me with emotionless eyes. Do we keep Ilya here, or do we send her to the church? I think I know what chat is going to suggest. I think I know what chat's choice is. She's never done anything wrong in her life. Ilya is just a little girl. She's just a baby. A sweet, innocent baby who can do no wrong. Protect her? Yep, I figured. We protect Ilya. Kiritsugu used to say that girls should be protected, and most of all, I don't want to let a child suffer.
いや、俺はイリアはここにいるべきだと思う。聖杯戦争は終わってないんだ。残りのマスターと決着がつくまで、イリアはうちでかくまいたい。
シローがそう言うんなら、私もここにいてあげるね。
For reference, though, the decision doesn't actually matter. She winds up staying here no matter what.
Ilya, 苦しいって。
Oh, she's tried to kill you. God forbid a child have hobbies. Exactly. Ilya hugs me, but I get her off of me. Well, there's no need to do that myself, as Saber does it for me.
何よ、さっきから邪魔ばっかりして。あなた、私に恨みでもあるの？
当然でしょう。その身がシローに何をしたか、私を忘れることなどない。シローもシローです。イリアスフィールをかくまうなど、百害あって一理なしとわからないのですか。
なんでだよ。イリアにはもうサーバントはいないんだから、危険ってことはないだろう。マスターじゃなくなったんだから。それより下手に放り出して襲われたらどうするんだ。イリアの命だって危ないし、他のマスターに力をつけさせることになるぞ。
それはそうですが、しかし
Saber hesitates. Whatever she may say, Saber does understand that Ilya would be attacked by other masters if she was left alone.
じゃあ次はこっちの番ね。セイバーを陥落したところ悪いけど、私はまだ説得されてないわ。いいシロ。そいつはまだマスターなのよ。サーバントを失っても、霊樹がある限りマスターはマスターだって教えたでしょ。
And thus, drinking tea gracefully, Tosaka interrupts the conversation.
ね、おい、それどういう意味だよ、トサカ。
だから霊樹さえ残っていれば、サーバントとは何人でも契約できるのよ。主のいないはぐれサーバントがいて、かつマスターにそのはぐれサーバントを許容できるキャパシティさえあれば、何人とだって契約はできるわ。
なんだよそれ。じゃあ優れたマスターなら何人でもサーバントと契約できるってことか。
何人でもってわけじゃないわ。聖杯の力で呼び出せる英霊は7人が限度だから、最大でも7人ね。もっともどんなに優れた魔術師だって複数のサーバントを具現化させる魔力なんてないわ。あるとしても、その場合は10の魔力を5に分けて2人のサーバントを刺激することになる。そうなるとサーバントの能力は下がるから、複数のサーバントと契約する旨味はないけどね。
I see. So if I formed a contract with Saber and Berserker would both exist sharing my magical energy, so their abilities would considerably decrease. So that means it's more efficient to choose one servant to give magical energy to.
そういえば前に言ってたっけ、サーバントってマスターを変えられるって。あれってこのことだったんだな。
あら、珍しく勘がいいじゃない。シローの言う通り、サーバントがマスターを変えるっていうのはそういうことよ。マスターを失ったサーバントは消えるまでいくらか猶予がある。で、その間に他にサーバントを欲しがっているマスターを探して契約すれば元通りってわけ。だからリンに気を許しちゃダメよ、シロー。そいつだってまだマスターなんだから。シローを殺してセイバーを奪うかもしれないし、まだ生きてるサーバントと再契約するかもしれないわ。
Excellent point, Ilya.
そう。それはあんたにそっくりお返しするわ、イリア。そんなことないもん。私、他のサーバントとなんて組まない。 イリアのサーバントはずっとバーサーカーだけなんだから。
Hanging her head slightly, Ilya murmurs. I can understand why the two gasped. I don't know what kind of relationship Ilya and Berserker had, but I can tell that for Ilya, that servant was special. That's a surprise, and a pleasant one. Ilya was cold-hearted as a master, but she still valued her partner.
あ、でもシロが負けちゃったらセイバーは私がもらうわ。私はシロ以外のマスターが勝つのは認めない。でももしシロが負けちゃったら私が代わりに勝ってあげるんだから。
Ilya says so to Saber and Tosaka.
バカなことは言わないでほしい。私はシロのサーバントです。あなたのサーバントになるつもりはありません。
ふーん。へえ、別にそれでも構わないわ。私はシロに勝ってもらえればそれでいい。私が勝つのもセイバーがシロを守ってくれるのもどうせ最後は同じだもの。
Ilya says things in a strange way. Well, she wants for me to win, but why would she want that? Then, Tosaka must have found it strange too as she starts to think.
私は構います。ともかく私は認めません。リン、あなたからもシロに忠告してください。
ごめんなさい。聞いてなかったわ。もう一度言って、セイバー。
ですから、イリアスフィールをここにかくまうのは反対だということです。
The fact that Shiro's going through all of this, not knowing what the relationship between him and Ilya actually is just... Oh, God. So Berserker was her dad, you refuse to believe otherwise. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Essentially, Ilya has abandonment issues stemming from her actual father. So Berserker is her dad now. And now he's dead. So, yeah.
ああ、それいいんじゃない？別にかくまうぐらいなら。
は？
Saber freezes. I'm surprised as well, so it's natural for the protesting Saber to freeze.
リン、あなた、正気ですか？
ええ、冷静に考えてみればリスクはどっちも同じなのよ。イリアを一人にするのも、ここでかくまうのも、
That's
教会
rough,
に預けるのも
buddy.
変わらない。いえ、むしろイリア目当てでマスターが来てくれた方が助かるわ。今のセーバーなら他のサーバントが束になっても負けっこない。聖杯戦争を終わらせるならその方が手っ取り早いし、それはあなただって望むところでしょ、セイバー。ま、あなたが他のサーバントに負けるって言うんなら話は変わるけど。
まさか今の私がどのような状態かリンなら分かっているでしょう。シローが私のマスターである限り私に敗北などありえません。
でしょ？ならイリアをかくまうのも問題ない。それに気になることもある。シローの選択はもしかしたらとんでもない妙手だったのかもしれないわ。
Gives her another command seal, go on, commit crimes. Tosaka then falls silent. Saber must have accepted that, as she reluctantly moves away from Ilya. Finishing breakfast, we go to the dojo. Tosaka is back in her room and Saber is with me. As for Ilya...
ねえ、本当に剣の鍛錬なんかするの？
She is right beside me, following me to the dojo.
私、今日はシロと遊べると思って楽しみにしてたんだよ。なのにセイバーなんて邪魔者はいるし、ここ寒いし、つまんないよ。
Well, it's naturally boring for Ilya. After all, training isn't a fun thing to watch.
ねえ、今に戻ろう。強くなりたいなら私がシローの力になってあげる。
Taking my hand with both of hers, Ilya tries to leave the dojo. But I can't compromise on this.
いや、ダメだ、イリア。剣の鍛錬は日課だからきちんとこなす。俺は魔術師として未熟なんだから、少しぐらいは戦えるようになっていないと。それに鍛えておけばイリアを守れるだろ。イリアをうちにかくまうって決めたのは俺なんだから、これぐらいはしないと締まらない。
うん、それはそうかも。けど私シローに守られなくてもいいんだけどな。シローはお兄ちゃんなんだから一緒にいてくれるだけでいいんだもん。
Nope, my persuasion failed. Ilya pulls at my hand. Saber is watching us silently. Her stare is rather painful. She must not approve of Ilya yet, and I think she's acting too bluntly. Our eyes meet. Good, I'll have Saber convince Ilya.
だからダメだって。セイバー、お前からも言ってくれ。午前中にセイバーと鍛錬をするのは日課なんだって。
私に言うべきことなどありません。イリアスフィールを連れてきたのはシローです。彼女に言い聞かせるのはシローの役割で私の責務には含まれていませんから。
She said, "You caused this problem, you fix it." Something's wrong. I don't know why, but could it be that she's really mad? What do you mean you don't know
セイバーも
why?
よくわかってるじゃない。剣の鍛錬なんてしなくていいのよ。残ってるのは雑魚ばっかりなんだから、そんなの必要ないもの。ねえシロ、他のマスターなんてセイバーに任せて、私たちは外で遊ぼう。
I lose my balance and take a step towards the exit.
ダメだ、話せイリア。こればっかりはわがまま言っても聞かないぞ。剣の鍛錬は休まないし、これからもずっと続ける。そりゃイリアにはつまらないだろうけど、俺はこれが好きなんだ。文句があるなら今の方で休んでいてくれ。
Shiro, honey, think really hard about why she's mad. Shiro, take those two brain cells and rub them together and try to form a thought. I shake her off violently. She must not have expected me to shake her off. Ilya moves away and looks at me uneasily. Crap. Even if I had to get her off me, there must have been a kinder way to do so.
すまんイリア、今のは乱暴すぎた。けど剣の鍛錬はやめられない。しばらく一人にして悪いんだが、今でおとなしくしていてくれるか。
Tosika has the brain cell. Yeah. Ilya starts to walk away without saying anything. She walks to the entrance and stops by the wall beside it.
いいわ。ならここで見てる。それなら文句ないでしょ。
She screams and glares at me.
いや、それは構わないけど、ここ寒いぞ。今だったらお茶もあるし、お茶受けも完備してるんだが。
私がいいって言ってるんだからいいの。なんだ、シロとセイバーを二人っきりになんてさせないんだから。
Big Angie. Nobody talk her. She Angie. Saying something strange, Ilya looks away.
まあいいけど。飽きたら今に戻ってても構わないから。
I don't understand Ilya's point, but I guess things are settled. I take two shinais from the wall and turn to Saber.
じゃあ始めよう。3日ぶりだからどうも勘が鈍ってそうだけどな。セイバー、どうした？ぼーっとしちまって。熱でもあるのか？
いえ、別にそういうことではないのですが。
Saber looks away from Ilya and shakes her head.
体は万全なんだな。なら始めるぞ。ほら、しない。
いえ、投げていただければ結構です。あまり不用意に近づかれては困ります。私たちは剣の鍛錬をするのですから。
Saber, you're acting weird all of a sudden.
だからそうだって。何言ってんだ、セイバー。
I throw her the shinai. After all, I've never gotten Saber. I've never been able to close in on her, so she doesn't need to tell me not go that. She doesn't need to tell me to not go near her carelessly. Saber catches the shinai awkwardly and takes an exaggeratedly deep breath.
それでは始めましょう。今までとは勝手が違いますが、平静を保つようにしろ。
Looking at Ilya, Saber says so.
大丈夫だ。誰が見ていようと始まれば気にならない。
I ready my shinai and look at Saber. In front of me is the golden-haired girl with the shinai. That fixes my attention only on her. Finishing the training after 2 hours, we enter the usual break. Stopping, I place my shinai on the wall.
改めて実感した。やっぱりセイバーはすごい。
Nodding, I drink water from a kettle. Quenching my thirst and wiping my sweaty neck, my body finally calms down.
ねえ、今のが鍛錬なの？なんかシロが一方的にやられてたようにしか見えなかったけど。
Ilya says something unpleasant.
それは違う、イリア。今でこそやられっぱなしだけど、以前はもっとひどかったんだ。むしろ一度も気絶しなかったあたり、今日は上出来だったと言っていい。
そうなんだ。けどそれってシロの腕前なのかな。セイバー、シロが何度もバランス崩してたのにわざと見逃してたような気がするんだけど。
Ilya ponders. She's sharp. I noticed that too. I don't know whether she was showing consideration for my body or whether she's not up to par. But either way, Saber wasn't going full strength against me. Well, she never goes full strength, but she still mercilessly attacked me when I showed an opening. But today, Saber lacked that. She did not perform any attacks that would have knocked me out, even though she usually does.
イリアもそう思うのか。やっぱりセイバーに見逃されてたのかな、俺。
不思議とそんな感じはしなかったよ。セイバー、ちゃんとシロに追い打ちしようって竹刀を構え直すんだけど、とっさにやめて下がっちゃうのよ。あれ、何だったのかな。見逃してるっていうより怖がってるっていうか遠慮してるっていうか。
はあ？まさかセイバーが遠慮なんかするもんか。そんな情けがあったら俺は初日であそこまで痛めつけられなかったぞ。
That's right, Saber doesn't hold back during training. I could desperately concentrate on Saber because I knew that.
一体どうしたんだよ、セイバー。こんなんじゃ鍛錬にならない。まさかとは思うけど、手を抜いてたんじゃないだろうな。
いえ、手を抜いていたなどということはありません。私は普段通りシロより一段階上の剣士を想定して相手をしていたのですが。
Saber must feel today's training is strange as well.
ああ、そりゃセイバーが手を抜くなんて思えないし、真剣にやってくれてたのも分かってる。けど今のは消極的すぎなかったか？もっとこうガツンと正面から打ち合ってくれないとためにならないってば。
正面からですか？ですがそうなるとマスターに近づきすぎです。それでは展開によっては体がぶつかってしまうというか。
Oh my god, Saber.
ん？そりゃ打ち合ってるんだから肩ぐらいぶつかるだろう。そもそもセイバー、 密着戦になったら甘いとばかりに体当たりしてきて、よく俺を吹っ飛ばしてたじゃないか。
私そんなことをしていたのでしょうか。
Ilya. She's like, oh, I see what's going on here.
していたのかって。まあ割と頻繁に。ほら、初めて竹刀を合わせた時も派手に壁まで叩きつけてくれただろ。女の子なのに力持ちだなって言ったら、剣士としてこの程度は当然だってセイバーは言ったじゃないか。
Saber is standing there dumbfounded. Saber really is acting weird today, but I have no idea why. It'll be a problem if Saber's sick or something, so maybe I should talk to Tosaka about it later on. We resume our training, still different from how it was before. We resume, but Saber backs off after only a few matches. Is this a new training method? She might counterattack when I let my guard down. I watch Saber closely. Saber narrows her eyes seriously and, taking a step towards me,
シロ、昼食にしましょう。
says something rather unlike her.
は？
Hilly's a little shit. She is. I lower my shinai.
昼食にするって、もうそんな時間か？
The clock says it's a bit before 12. She's right that it's time for lunch, but this is the first time Saber has suggested it. We never noticed the time when we were training in the dojo. It was the routine for us to take a break and only noticed that it was lunchtime when we felt hungry and looked up at the clock. It's a reasonable proposal, so I can nod, but... Alright, do we just agree? Do we question it? Or do we say no? No lunch. What does chat decide? Feed the saber. The king needs to eat. Alright, burgers for the Burger King. Let's have lunch.
そうだな。ちょっと早いけど準備しようか。
早いのですか？もうじき正午ですし、調理には時間がかかるのですから、ちょうどいいと思うのですが。
ん？あ、今日は弁当を作っといたんだ。物はできてるんで、今から持ってくるだけですぐ食べられる。
素晴らしい。それならなんとか我慢できそうです。
Saber is relieved.
我慢って何が？
いえ、特に意味はありません。取るに足りない独り言ですので、早速昼食にいたしましょう。
いたしましょうってセイバー。なんか微妙に言葉遣い違くないか？試合中もおかしかったし、体調が悪いなら言ってくれないと困る。セイバーの調子が悪いなら弁当はやめて消化しやすい料理を作り直すから。
いえ、そのようなことはありません。今から調理しては時間がかかりますし、今すぐ昼食を取らなければならないし、とにかく昼食にしましょう、シロ。
Saber is going through it today. She's obviously acting suspiciously, but it doesn't seem like she's sick, so I shouldn't have to prepare anything different for lunch.
わかった。じゃあ弁当とお茶持ってくるから、2人はここで待っててくれ。せっかくの弁当だし、たまには道場でお昼にしよう。
はい、期待しています、シロ。
Saber sees me off, waving her hand wildly. panicking and getting mad. I really wonder what's wrong with her today. At noon, we start to eat lunch. I made a proper meal this morning, so I made a boxed lunch with the leftovers.
これはなるほど。朝の料理をパンに挟んだのですね。
Saber admires the sandwich as she eats it. As she is using a paper napkin so as to not dirty her hands, I can sense her elegance even with this kind of lunch.
朝も思ったけどシロはお料理上手よね。私ね、ご飯が美味しいのはいいことだと思うの。
On the other hand, Ilya is stuffing in her sandwich, full of energy. I don't know if she's out of control or just copying me. Ilya usually seems more well-mannered than Saber, but that doesn't seem to apply to dining manners.
待ちなさい、イリアスフィール。それでは髪が汚れてしまいます。
Saber places a napkin against Ilya's cheek. Something like butter must have been on there as Saber wipes around Ilya's mouth.
ありがとう。けど、どういうつもり？セイバーは私のこと嫌いなんでしょ？
ええ。今でも警戒はしています。ですが私とて人の心はわかる。あなたには敵意がなく、シローは客人として迎えました。ですから私も最低限の礼は尽くしますし、それにその髪は美しい。目の前で汚れてしまうのがいささか心苦しいというものでしょう。
Okay, all I'm going to say here is, Ilya is the spitting image of her mother, and Saber knew Ilya's mother. Because she was involved in the Fourth Holy Grail War. That must have been from the bottom of her heart. Saber's voice is the same as always. It doesn't sound like she's thinking about Ilya. Ilya stares at Saber. And I realize, Ilya has never directly looked at Saber until now. For Ilya, Saber was just my servant and not someone that deserved to be treated as a human.
そんなこと言ったって、シロは私のものだけど。まあ、少しはセイバーのこと考えてあげてもいいわ。シロを勝たせてあげることはできるけど、私じゃ守ってあげられないものね。
Ilya says so while shrugging her shoulders and eats her sandwich. Hold on, let me pull up a picture of Ilya's mom real quick to show you guys. Iris Wheel von Einspan. Let's see what's a good picture. This one's good. Not that one, not that one. Alright, hold on. So, this is, oh my god. This is, Ilya's mom. I have too many sources that are just labeled window capture. Girl, help. But, yeah. You see the similarities? She's like a mini version of her mom. Alright, that's enough of Irie. Goth GF. Not really. Not really. If anything, Irie is very preppy.
言われるまでもありません。マスターの盾となるのはサーバントの責務ですから。
Saber answers Ilya plainly. The conversation is the same as before, but their voices sound more gentle. Tosuka comes while we're relaxing after lunch.
シロいる？こっちの準備はできたから早めに顔を出してよね。
She addresses me concisely and returns to the outbuilding.
そうか、忘れてた。午後は遠坂に魔術を教えてもらうんだった。
As I never had a proper teacher, Tosuka's magic lectures are more than helpful. It seems Tosuka is still willing to teach me, so I should go to see her as quickly as I can.
悪い、遠坂の部屋に行ってくる。どのくらいかかるかわからないから、セイバーとイリアは部屋で休んでいてくれ。
いいよ。私もなんだか眠いし、少しお昼寝する。
Eepy girl. Ilya goes out of the dojo, rubbing her eyes sleepily. World's sleepiest girl. Good. If Ilya will calmly go to sleep, there won't be any problem with me going to Tosuka's room.
シロ、リーの部屋に行くのですか？
ん？ああ、そう言っただろ。遠坂には魔術の基本を教わらなくちゃいけない。
その必要はあるのでしょうか？バーサーカーは倒れましたし、私たちが協力して挑む敵は存在しなくなった。ならば、シローがリンに教わることはなくなったのではないですか？
That might certainly be true. First of all, Tosuka taught me so that we could go up against Berserker. Now that that need is not there, there's no more reason to learn from Tosuka, but...
いや、バーサーカーとは関係なしで教わりたいんだ。俺は未熟だから少しでも早く一人前にならないと。
そうですか。シローがそういうのでしたら、私に止める権利はありません。
Saber murmurs with a sad face.
じゃあレクチャーを始めるけど、その前に聞いておくわ。あんた、体で壊れちゃったところとかない？
Tosuka asks me a strange question as soon as I enter her room.
壊れたって何が？
だから動かない箇所はないかって聞いてるの。あれだけめちゃくちゃしたんだから神経が焼き切れるのは分かってるのよ。まあそんなのはどうでもいいんだけど、体のどこに異常があるのかぐらい知っておかないと授業にならないから。
It seems my body should be numb somewhere, according to Tosuka. But I know myself that she's wrong.
いや、動かないところはないぞ。一晩寝たら頭痛も熱もなくなったし、俺は至って健康だが。
はあ？そんなわけないでしょ。セイバーの剣を投影したのよ。あんなの腕一本維持してもおかしくない芸当じゃない。
だから動くって。だいたい体が動かなかったらイリアをおんぶして帰ってこれるわけないだろう。あの時おかしかったのは頭痛と熱だけだって。
嘘よそんなの。シロ、ちょっと腕見せてみなさい。
Without waiting for a reply, Tosuka takes my arm and stares at it. That makes my breathing stop. Even though I'm getting used to her, having her this close tenses me up.
本当に異常はないみたいね。焼き付いた跡かな。あざみたいに黒くなってるところはあるけど、他は完全に修復されてる。いえ、治ったというよりようやく生え変わったってとこかしら。
As she murmurs, her breath brushes my arm. That makes me blush, but
ふざけた体ね。これ例の自然治癒による回復じゃないわよ。シローの自然治癒は明らかに外部からの働きかけだけど、こっちはあなた自身の治癒能力だと思う。
she says so while rolling up my sleeve and patting my arm.
ストップ。もういいだろう、遠坂。用が済んだら椅子に戻れ。
I pull my arm back to get away from Tosaka.
何よ、こっちはあんたの体を見てあげてるっていうのに。ってはは
Tosaka moves closer to me.
熱は下がったって言うけど、まだ十分ありそうじゃない？シロ、顔が真っ赤よ。
そんなの俺の勝手だろ。お前関係ないんだから気にするな。
Shiro diagnosed you with simp. No, he's just got the harem protagonist EX skill.
そうなんだ。関係ないんなら、私がこんなことしても影響はないわけよね。
額に手なんて当てるな。熱なんてないんだから、そんなことしても意味ないぞ。
ええ、そうみたいね。今度は耳まで真っ赤だもの。熱っていうより酔っ払ってるみたい。
It's deliberate. I bet she's doing this deliberately. Gee, you think?
遠坂、お前分かっててやってるだろ。
ああ、バレた？シローがあんまりにもベタな反応するからついからかっちゃった。
Oh, I love her. Tosaka Riz? Oh, yeah. You should go to hell for toying with a man's innocence.
冗談はこの程度にしといてあげる。あんまりからかうとミイラ取りがミイラになりかねないしね。
Tosaka returns to her chair in a good mood. This is a problem. Tosaka will likely make more fun of me as the days go by.
遠坂、今更言うのもなんだけど、俺は真面目に授業を受けに来たんだが。
あら、失礼ね。私だってそのつもりよ。今のだって教え子の状態を確認しただけだもの。
そうかよ。じゃ、そろそろ本題に入ってくれるんだな。
そうね。本題といっても私の専門外だからアドバイスぐらいしかできないけど、しないよりはマシだから。
Shiro-Rin based? For real? I don't remember if I've mentioned this on stream before, but out of the three main girls, Saber, Rin, and Sakura, Rin is the only one who is there and by Shiro's side for the majority of all three routes. Like, she is very much the actual, like, deuteragonist. I don't think that's how you say that. But, like, she is the second main character. Not Saber. Not Sakura. Rin. Rin, best girl. Oh, I'm so excited for when we get to her route. Tosaka turns to me seriously, discarding her earlier lightheartedness.
正直に言ってしまえばね、私があなたの力になってあげられたのは前回でおしまいなのよ。
Soulmate coded for real.
こんな短期間の授業で魔術は身につかない。私はただあなたが使ってなかったスイッチを取り付けただけ。それはわかる？
あの宝石だろ？確かにあれを飲んでから魔術回路は作るんじゃなくて切り替えるものになってくれた。
そう、一朝一夕で教えてあげられたのはそれぐらい。けどそれだって今まで鍛えてきたものを表に出したに過ぎないわ。
Like, I love Shiro's relationships with all of the three main girls. I think they're all very, very great and very well written. But Shiro and Rin are my favorite. They're so good together.
私はあなたが体で覚えた魔術を後押しすることしかできないし、他の魔術を教える気もない。だって才能ないもの、あなた。
そこまでズバッと言われるとある意味さっぱりした。けど遠坂、俺が使える魔術ならアドバイスしてくれるんだろ。ならあの時に使った魔術が何だったのか教えてくれ。
Tosuka doesn't answer. She just glares at me like I'm her enemy.
遠坂、そのレクチャーだよな。
Saber's Burger Cannon.
黙
Real.
っていられると俺も困るんだが。
She averts her gaze with an unhappy expression. But that's only for a moment.
無理よ。私、投影魔術なんて使えないもの。自分が知らないものを教えられるわけないじゃない。
遠坂が使えない？
I tilt my head questioningly. Wasn't the thing I used against Berserker fundamental for a magus? Assuming the structure of an object and passing the necessary magical energy through it. It's no different from a strengthening magic. But it's hard to pass my magical energy, an alien element, through an object that's already there. It's like adding paint I consider red to make something redder, but ending up with a different color. Compared to that, it's so much easier to draw using my own paint from start to finish. I can just draw whatever I want.
そんなはずあるか。遠坂ならあれぐらいできるだろ。強化より簡単だぞ、あれ。
あんたね、今の他の魔術師に言ったら間違いなく殺されるわよ。あんたがやったのは投影で、かつ宝具を完全に複製していた。あそこまでできるフェイカーなんて私は知らない。
I feel a chill. It's not my imagination. Tosuka is certainly hostile to me.
どうってことないわ。そんなことあんたの蔵を見た時からうすうす感づいてたんだから。今さらエミやシローに殺意を抱いても仕方ない。勘違いしてるようだから言ってあげるとね、あなたがやったのは投影の魔術なの。実在する美術品とか名剣とか、そういったものを自身の魔力でイメージとして再現するっていう半端な魔術よ。大抵は儀式の際に使用する一時しのぎの代用品として使われる。イメージで編んだそれは当然架空のものとして認識されるから、すぐに消えてしまうものなんだけどね。
I can understand that it's a reproduction made out of illusions. I saw Saber's sword in my dream and imagined the golden sword based on it.
よくわからないな。魔力ってのは粘土だろ。たとえイメージでも一度形になったものなら消えることなんてないんじゃないのか。
そんなわけないじゃない。魔力ってのは自分の体の中でしか存在できないものでしょ。だから物に魔力を通したり、魔力をスターターにして自然干渉を行うんじゃない。そりゃあ私だって魔力を飴のようにこねて探検ぐらい作れるわ。けどそれで終わり。それは探検の形をした飴に過ぎないし、外に出した魔力は気化していくからすぐに消えてしまう。いい？魔力だけで作り上げたものは長続きしないものだし、あくまで形だけのものよ。まあその形だけのものを外見も性能もオリジナルに近づけるのが投影魔術らしいんだけど。
Certainly, magical energy has no shape. I can feel it when it's in my body, but it fades and disappears once it goes outside. So no matter how well I make a blueprint in my head and construct something out of magical energy, it is only natural for it to fade away since it's made out of magical energy. Come to think of it, when I first did something like projection, when Kiritsugu first started to teach me, he told me to do strengthening instead because projection was inefficient.
そうか。投影って魔力の消費が激しいんだ。使ってもすぐに消えてしまうから作っても意味がない。
そういうこと。例えば銃の魔力を使って剣を投影するでしょ。 その場合その剣の力はせいぜい3か4なのよ。人間のイメージなんて穴だらけだから本物通りの複製なんてできないんだもの。対して10の魔力を使って剣を強化した場合、その剣の力は20にも30にも跳ね上がる。加えてその持続時間は投影の何百倍よ。分かった？投影魔術っていうのは今じゃ儀式の時にしか使われないものなの。道具が揃えられなかった時の代用品としてすぐに消える複製品を用意するための魔術に過ぎない。シローの父親が強化を教えたのは適切よ。ただでさえ魔術回路が少ないんだから、投影なんて無駄な魔術を教えたら一般人と変わらないもの。
I understand that. But then, what was that? The golden sword that I imagined in my head and reproduced seemed to have its original powers.
じゃあセイバーの剣を投影したのはまぐれだったのかな。考えてみればあの剣に蓄えられていた魔力は桁違いだった。自分の何百倍っていう魔力を模倣するなんてどう見てもおかしいよな。
Slowly unraveling the mystery of Shiro's powers.
それはそのきっとシローは剣と相性がいいのよ。魔術師はそれぞれ属性を持ってるでしょ。あなたはそれが剣なんだと思う。
属性？火とか水とか各元素に当てはまるものか。
そう、普通は世界を構成する一元素を背負うものなんだけどね。魔術協会でも火はノーマル、風はノーブルって言われてるじゃない。地水火風空でもいいし、木火土金水でもいい。このうちどれか一つを魔術師は持っているんだけど、中にはさらに分化した属性もあるわ。大抵そういう魔術師は中央には入れず、突出した専門家として名を馳せるらしいけど、それで言うならシローは剣よ。多様性はないけど、こと剣に関しては頂点を狙えるってこと。
I don't know if she's gonna mention it, but regarding elements, Rin is actually what they call average one, which means she has all of the elemental affinities.
なるほど。それ
Oops. When it comes to swords, I've always had a strong interest in them. Then what attribute... Oh, okay, here it is. Then what attribute would Tosaka be? Considering her, I'm sure it's something uppity like fire or wind, but I want to ask and I'm curious.
なあトサカ、参考までに聞くけど、お前の属性ってなんだ？
私は五大元素っていう属性だけど。
Does that mean she has all of them?
ともかく私が言えることなんてそんなものよ。
Her dad was fire, also.
投影は虚影って言われるぐらい意味のないものだから、あまり多用はしないこと。それにね、セイバーの剣を模造するなんてそんなのは自殺行為よ。あの時はうまくいったからいいものの、本来なら自滅していてもおかしくなかった。
Also, there is somebody in this visual novel whose attribute is imaginary numbers. I'm not going to say who just yet. But I want you guys to know that that is a thing.
あんたも言ってたけど、
And it is
セイバーの
incredibly
剣の魔力
powerful.
はシローの魔力のキャパシティを超えているのよ。それを複製するってことは、自分の魔術回路の限界を軽くオーバーしてるってわかるでしょ。
分かってるけど、自分の限界なんてそう簡単に超えられないだろ。いや、そもそも限界なんだからそれ以上なんていけないんじゃないのか。
いけるわ。だからこそ魔術師は死と隣り合わせなんじゃない。魔術が形式に沿ったものなら、知識さえあればどんな魔術だって行えるのは同意でしょ。たとえ自分では再現不可能の奇跡だって分かっていても、それにチャレンジすることは誰にでもできる。魔術師なんて動力源に過ぎない。小さなエンジンでもアクセルを踏み続けていれば規定以上のスピードは出る。けど その先にあるのは自滅しかない。それと同じよ。魔術師っていうのはね、自滅さえ覚悟するなら限界なんて簡単に超えられる。
Oh, Rin, don't tell him that. He has no self-preservation instinct.
魔術回路を焼き切らせて神経をズタズタにして、それでも魔力を回転させていけば奇跡に手は届くわ。あなたの投影はまさにそれよ。戦いの後ずっと体が熱かったのは神経が焼き切れていたからだもの。それが分不相応な魔術の代償よ。手足の1本や2本壊れて当然のことをあなたはしたの。
She's angry at me. But at the same time...
だから覚えておきなさい、エミヤ君。自分の限界を超えた魔術は術者を廃人にするわ。セイバーの剣を投影するなんてもう二度とやらないで。
She's really worried about me as well. After warning me, Tosuka hands me some strange medicine.
まあ無理するなって言っても無駄だろうしね。
Yeah.
気休めだろうけど、もしもの時の痛め止めぐらいは飲んどきなさい。うまくいけばあざで変色した肌も治るかもしれないし。
Saying that, she prepares a light green powder for me. I drink the medicine with tea. Tosuka rummages through her stuff and tries to prescribe me another medicine. Well, I feel sorry for Tosuka rummaging through her stuff, but I'm bored just sitting here. So I should ask about projection magic, ask question number 1, whatever that is, or just sit in silence. Chat, this is your third and final decision of the night. What do we do? Does chat not have an opinion on this decision? Well, I don't remember what question number 1 actually is, so I'm curious about that. There's something I don't understand. Tosuka wasn't easily crushed in the battle against Berserker. I wonder what kind of trick that was.
なあ、トサカ、昨日の話なんだけど、ちょっといいか。
何？忙しいんだから手短にして。
うん。トサカ、バーサーカーに掴まれただろ？あの状態でよく持ちこたえたなって。そうは見えないけど、腹筋すげえ鍛えてあるのか。
鍛えてあるだけでバーサーカーの腕力に耐えられるなんて、私のお腹は鉄以上ってこと？
悪い、聞き方が悪かった。悪かったから笑顔で殺気をみなぎらせるのはやめてくれ。
そっちこそ無駄に挑発しないでよね。で、どうやって持ちこたえたかだけど、事前にお腹に宝石を仕込んでおいたのよ。服の内側に貼り付けて防護膜を張ってたわけ。
She does
That's
also
a big-
work out, though. Her basement is full of gym equipment. And she does martial arts that she learned from Kirei.
そっか。遠坂は初めからバーサーカーに掴まれる気だったもんな。そりゃあらかじめ体を守っておくか。けど遠坂、そうなるとお前の宝石って。
もう品切れよ。セイバーに1個、バーサーカーの注意をそらすのに3個、顔を吹っ飛ばすのに5個で、体を守らせてたのが1個。10年以上蓄えたものだけど、使う時はあっという間だったわ。しかもそのほとんどを使ったのにバーサーカーは倒せなかったし。
She sighs, wondering why, but she doesn't regret using them. What's done is done. She knows that the important thing is not what she lost, but what she will gain from now on.
そっか。残念だったな、遠坂。
ありがとう。まあこの教訓を生かして次は私一人で倒せるようなものを作ってみせるわ。
She says so simply. As she says, I bet her words will come true. Because of that, I realize our battle with Berserker ended in victory because Tosaka was there. So, after she makes me drink various medicines, she makes me practice simple strengthening to check on my health. Like checking if there's anything wrong with my body by channeling magical energy through it, and so on. Tosaka is more like a doctor than a teacher today.
よし、問題はないみたいね。この分なら明日はもう来なくていいわ。
え、
I'm surprised. That means...
当然じゃない。今の状況で私があなたに教えることなんてないもの。本気で魔術を習いたいんならこの戦いが終わってからにするべきよ。それにもうアーチャーはいないでしょ。素人の協力関係はもうとっくに終わってたのよ。
Being told that, I finally realize. From the beginning, we cooperated to fight Berserker. Berserker is gone, and Tosaka has lost her servant. So this should all have ended yesterday.
それじゃあ遠坂はこれからどうするんだ。琴峰のところに行くのか。
That would only be natural. Tosaka and Kotomine are close, so it should be fine for her to request his protection.
なんで？行くわけないじゃない。まだ負けてもいないのに。サーバントがいなくなったから戦えないなんてことはないでしょ。
She also hates Kirei, so there's that.
それにやり逃げってのも趣味じゃないしね。一度戦うと決めたからには最後まで事の顛末を確かめるのが責任でしょ。
As if it's only natural. Tosaka says it confidently. I'm stunned. No, I'm not surprised. I already knew Tosaka was this kind of person. She is really firm and amazingly selfish, and so fascinatingly brilliant.
けどそれじゃあどうするんだ。一人でやっていくのか。まだサーバントとマスターは残ってるんだぞ。
そうね。だからしばらくはここで情報を集めるわ。竜道寺の調査も再開しないといけないし。
しばらくはここに残る。いいのか。そうしてもらえると助かるけど、もう協力関係は終わったんだろ。なら
何言ってるのよ。バーサーカーに勝てたのはあーちゃんのおかげでしょ。協力関係は終わったけどその借りはまだ貸したままよ。返済が終わるまでここを提供するのは当然じゃない。それに責任は最後まで取るって言ったでしょ。ちょっとの間だったけど師弟になったしね。あなたを一人にしたら頼りなくって心配で聖杯戦争どころじゃなくなるわ。
In other words, this is it. Yes. It feels like ages ago, but the Tosaka Rin that Emiyashiro admired was a girl like this. That's why I'm happy. Tosaka has to be like this. After all, I wouldn't know what to believe in if such a stubborn girl decided to give up.
なあ、これからもよろしく頼む、トサカ。なんだかんだ言って、お前がいないと右も左もわからない。俺とセイバーにはトサカが必要なんだ。
Oh, they're so good.
いいけど、あんたその言い回しはやめなさいってば。バカ正直なのはいいけど、気をつけないと誤解を招くわよ。
I don't quite understand why Tosaka would get mad at that.
トサカ、誤解を招くって何を招くってんだ。
あのね、今のは失言なの。聞くなって態度で表してるんだから、追求するのはルール違反よ。
It seems Tosaka knows a rule I don't know about.
呆れた。これじゃセイバーも大変だわ。まあ、それともあんたたちはそれでちょうどいいのかもね。少しぐらい麻痺してないと、あなたもセイバーもダメなのかもしんないし。
よくわからないけど、そのセイバーが大変だってのは聞き捨てならないぞ。なんだってセイバーが大変なんだよ、トサカ。
Shiro is so stupid.
だからあんたのそういうところが大変だって言ってるの。その分じゃセイバーの変化になんて気がついてないんでしょ、エミヤ君は。
セイバーの変化。
That's not a change on the outside, is it? If anything has changed about Saber, it's...
ああ、そういえば朝から様子が変だったな。いや、イリアがいたから不機嫌だったとは思うんだけど、それにしたって黙って正座してるわ。どうしたんだって聞けば夢を見たとか言って立ち去っちまうし。
I forgot about it since I was busy with Ilya. Come to think of it, Saber was acting weird, like she was half asleep or something.
セイバーが夢を見た？
え、何？それって驚くところか、父さん。
Oops. Oh, she's ignoring me.
おい、黙ってないで何か言ってくれ。そんな顔されるとこっちまで不安になってくる。
ああ、別にそんな大したことじゃないわ。単にサーバントは夢を見ないってだけだから。
Servants don't dream?
そうよ、サーバントは夢なんて見ないわ。それでも見たって言うんなら、それは夢じゃない。単に誰かの記憶を垣間見ただけの話よ。
Tosaka must have had the same experience. She says so with a coldness, totally different from her earlier cheerfulness. And so, it's time to prepare dinner. All the things that happened in the past few days must have destroyed the cooking rotation.
今日の夕食お願いね。今夜もまた冷えそうだし、イリアもいるし、シチューとかいいんじゃない？
But she tells me that as she leaves.
まあ確かにイリアはシチューってイメージだけどな。
Maybe because of how she looks with the coat and the hat. Anyways, I have no objections to making stew for dinner. I'm not that good at making Western food, but I shouldn't make any terrible mistakes with stew.
と、その前に。
It's a bit before 6. There's still a bit of time until I need to start cooking. I'm sweaty, so I should take a bath. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I know what's coming up. Oh boy. It's a bit of a hassle to take a bath before dinner, but since Tosaka and Saber take their baths after dinner, I'm forced to take it late. The hallway is cold. The room is warm because of the heater, but I can feel the winter cold as soon as I emerge into the hallway. It seems that even though the weather should be warm, it's been a bit screwed up the past few days. Speaking of cold, I heard that it snowed. I didn't notice, probably because it lasted less than an hour and there wasn't much. Well, if it did pile up, the yard would be full of a snowman army, and I'd have to clean it up afterwards. So you could say I'm glad. Of course, only one person would build a snowman army. The day it snowed last year, I remember her standing in front of class with hands red from frostbite. Oh no. I was going to take a shower, but the bathroom is quite hot already.
白
The sound of water. Hold on. I'm going to, turn off the game source real quick so I can see the upcoming images and see if they're, like, YouTube safe or not. As soon as my gaze moves to the bathtub. I needed something to put over that just to be safe. Hold on. Hold on. Should you be scared? Hold on. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. It's not, like, really showing anything, but it's YouTube. I want to be safe. And Twitch. It's YouTube and Twitch. I want to be safe. My head goes whiter than the steam. I can't talk right since my throat is numb. I can't move my body because I can't think. But still, somewhere in my head, I think that something like this happened before. No, it's not the same as before. Saber was baring her skin last time, but I was fully clothed. But this time it's completely different.
Saber.
My gasp echoes through the air. Saber watches as I stand there dumbfounded. Saber will get mad this time. Surely she'll get mad. She'll definitely get mad. As proof, her soft lips are trembling as if they will yell in the next moment.
すまん、悪かった。シャワーを使おうと思って、いや、こんな時間に誰か入っているとは思っていなかったんだけど、普通気がつくだろう、そんなことって言われるのはもっともなんだが。
I give my excuses while backing up towards the dressing room. It's not like I'm fascinated by Saber. Oh, definitely not. It just feels like Saber will get madder if I run back to the dressing room. But in either case, I can't take my eyes off her. I remember that night at the ruins. I recall the warmth of Saber, who was so close to me. Saber's body was frail and delicate. We shared our warmth and heartbeats. God, it wasn't the time for this back then. But now, all of it makes me feel something that's hard to resist.
とにかく話は後で。
I reach behind me, searching for the door. Then...
申し訳ありません、シロ。その勝手な申し出なのですが、今は席を外してもらえないでしょうか。
Saber asks in a faint voice as she averts her gaze. That really blanks my mind. Why Saber won't get mad. Her embarrassed face makes all the blood go to my head.
なんて。
I I murmur by reflex. Saber hangs her head even more in apology.
ですから、シャワーを使うのはもう少し後にしてください。この場を一人で使うことを今だけは許してほしい。
Saber curls up as if hiding her body. That suddenly makes me remember. When I met Saber in the dressing room last time, she didn't say anything. The sex of a servant is no concern. She was the one who said that, with no concern for her appearance.
つまり、待て、頭がぐるぐるしててうまく言えないんだが。
Come on, work.
要するに、セイバー、怒ってないのか？
シローが体を洗うのは当然でしょう。私はそこまでマスターの行動を制限しません。
I understand. In other words, Saber thinks nothing of her appearance, or whether or not she's clothed. So it's only natural that I'm here. As the bath is a place to wash your body, it's natural for me to be here. Saber being here is also of no concern. Or Saber being here also is of no concern. That's, helpful, but I also think it's wrong.
けど、なら、今俺がシャワーを使ってもいいってことになるんだ。
Must you zoom in?
それは見られることは問題ではないのです。ただ、私の体は凛のように少女のものではありません。ですから。
Saber blushes even more and finishes with difficulty.
シローにはあまり見てほしくない。このように筋肉のついた体では殿方には見苦しいでしょう。
What muscles? Takeuchi was a coward. She says that. I almost faint for a bunch of different reasons.
バカ、そんなこと。
Ridiculous. Saber's body is not unsightly. She claims her body is rugged, but I was never worried about that. Of course, her body is trained compared to Tosaka's, but still, I think Saber's body is really feminine.
シロー、そういう理由だから一人にしてほしいのですが。
First off, Saber, you're wrong. Second, what muscles? Exactly. I don't know how I answered. Alright, I think we're in the clear. All I can remember is that I nodded and shut the door. And so the day ends. Dinner was exciting. Ilya spoke more and more at each meal today, and she had a weird relationship with Tosaka where I couldn't tell whether they were friendly or fighting. Saber is more approving of Ilya, but she must not have let her guard down as she frowns every time Ilya comes near me. The past few days were too wild. A normal day like this is unsettling for me. I go out to the yard quietly. It's a bit before midnight. Under the cold moonlight, I walk, leaving traces of white breath behind me. And before I realize it, I'm doing my daily routine. I'm being taught by Tosaka, so there's no need for me to train here now. But still, I sit on the cold ground and check the thing within me. It's not that I feel uneasy about my skills. This is just a jinx. I've been doing this for years now, so it just doesn't feel right unless I finish my day here. But today's training is more heated up than usual. Tosaka told me not to use it, but I can't obediently agree with her. If I can make this projection thing mine, it'll be a powerful weapon and I'll be able to help Saber better. Besides, I still have that heat in my body. The night at the ruin. The battle in the forest filled with morning mist. The golden sword I made. The remaining heat is still in my hands, and my heart wishes it to start burning again when I try again.
想像理念鑑定
Reproducing it is easy. My mind was jumbled up back then because I was desperate, but I can perform only the steps I need now. No. From the beginning, there was only one to guide Emiyashiro. The pronunciation is the same. Just change the self's recognition and it will become an original spell.
基本骨子想定
I understand how dangerous it is without needing for Tosuka to tell me. As a magus, Emiyashiro must not associate himself with projection. It's something that's beyond me. A venture beyond one's capabilities will eventually be paid for by death.
家庭終了これ即無なり
I erased the blueprint I was drawing. On the other side of the door. As if hiding the blue moon, Saber approaches.
よかった。ここにいたのですね、シロ。姿が見えないので何かあったのかと。
いや別に何があったわけじゃない寝つけないから頭の体操をしていただけだ一通りこなしたら部屋に戻るから心配はいらない
そうですか。ならいいのですが。
Saying so, she looks at me. It's impossible to hide as my face is all sweaty as always.
あこれもいつものことだから気にしないでくれ魔術の練習なんて魔術師として当然のたしなみだろいやまあ半人前なんで失敗はつきものなんだけど
I wipe the sweat off my forehead.
Oh.
I'm surprised. The sweat I wiped off is ice cold. I thought it was cold, but was it this cold in the shed?
シロ、一日も欠かさずそれを。
いやまあできる限りは親父に言われた日課だしこれぐらいはやらないと
Replying, I regret that I'm bluffing. That this is my daily routine. I wanted to boast to Saber by saying that. The training at the end of the day is certainly no trouble for me. But it was never easy for me either. Saber doesn't say anything. Behind her is the moon. Slanting rays of light enter the shed, covered in blue darkness. This is like a reproduction of the night I met her.
セイバー遠坂が言ってたことなんだけど
As soon as I think this is like watching a dream.
サーバントは夢を見ないっていうのは本当なのか
Without realizing, I ask her that question.
ええ、私たちは夢を見ない。もともと幽体であるサーバントは眠りません。私は幽体化ができないため眠らざるを得ませんが、それでも夢を見れません。
でも朝は見たって
A small silence. She closes her eyes once and looks at me with a gentle face as if she's determined.
私が見たものはあなたの夢です、シロ。マスターとサーバントは精神的にもつながっている。結びつきが強くなれば相手の過去を垣間見ることもあるでしょう。
夢に見たって俺の過去か
はい。あなたの心に踏み入る行為だとは分かっていたのですが、私には拒むことができなかった。それをどうか許してください、シロ。
That goes for me as well. Saber's past. I've seen the days before she became a servant many times.
バカそんなのセイバーのせいじゃないだろう夢に見ちまうなら仕方がないじゃないかそれに謝るのはこっちの方だ俺の昔なんてつまんないことばかりだろそんなもん見せられたらおちおち眠ってられやしない
いえ、夢を見たのは今朝だけです。それも最近のことではありませんから、 シロの男性としてのプライベートを侵害するようなことは決してありません。
Saber comments honestly. But private? Well, I've done ordinary stupid things, but...
それは助かるけど、最近のことじゃないって、じゃあいつ頃のことなんだ？
大きな火事でした。私が見たものはその光景だけです。
A quiet voice. Her gentle eyes tell me what she saw. I see. So she dreamt about that.
そうか。それはなんていうか。
Should I say unfortunate? It's like going to a movie theater to see a movie you know, but going into the wrong theater and seeing something completely different.
それで分かりました。いいえ、前から思ってはいたのです。あなたにはひどく危ういところがあると。
危ういところってなんだよ。そりゃセイバーから見れば至るところは危なげだろうけど。
そんな意味ではありません。あなたは、シローは私と似ています。だからあなたの間違いもわかる。このまま進めばどうなってしまうかも同じだから分かってしまう。
いや、間違ってなんかないけどな。そりゃ失敗は数えきれないけど、俺は親父みたいな正義の味方になるんだ。間違ったことなんてできないだろ
う。だからそれが間違いなのです。シロ、あの事故はあなたのせいでもないし、その責任はあなたが負うべきものでもない。あなたには償うべきものなどないのです。
Of course. It was only an accident, and I was only a victim. Well, certainly there have been times when I felt guilty about being the only survivor, but...
以前リンが言っていました。シローの自己犠牲と献身ぶりは異常だと。それは私も同感です。あなたは自らの命を代価として人を助けようとするのではない。あなたは単に初めから自分の命が感情に入っていないのではないですか。
Did my pupils open wide? Somehow, I cannot see Saber's face clearly.
あの事故を忘れることはあなたにはできないでしょう。ですが、覚えている限りシローは変わらない。それは苦しいのではないですか。
苦しい？俺が？
Well, of course it's painful. Saber doesn't need to tell me that. It's only natural. So many people died, and it was such a hell. I think it's only natural for it to be painful. And besides, if it weren't, it might all be meaningless.
確かにこうして思い出すと辛い。けど、それは終わったことだ。今さらどうにかできることじゃないだろう。
Saber doesn't answer. She scratches her arm, irritated.
私は聖杯を手に入れなければならない。けれど、それはシローにも当てはまる。
セイバー。
シローには聖杯が必要だ。私があなたに呼び出されたのは必然だったのです、マスター。
How can I answer that?
先に眠ります。シローもあまり無茶はしないように。
Saber leaves. I cross my arms and ponder. Do I need the Holy Grail? The Grail that grants the wishes of its possessor. A vessel which contains unlimited amounts of magical energy, for which it is said nothing is impossible. If I had such a thing, my wish would certainly be easily granted, but...
いや、違う。 どう考えても聖杯なんていらないぞ、俺。
Yeah, I definitely don't need it. Because I don't have any wishes that won't come true or that are impossible. Because if it's a dream I can't reach by myself, I won't even dream it in the first place. The night thickens. With only the moonlight, I listen to the distant wind in the familiar shed. And that is the end of day 12. So, let's go ahead and save. And that's gonna wrap it up for today's stream. This is the one I want. Let me see what we have in store for next week, day 13. Oh, we're finally meeting Castor. And also someone else. Oh, day 13 is gonna be exciting. So that's gonna be next week. As for tomorrow, we are going to be continuing the Ghost Hunt event in Star Rail and also doing the photo event because apparently that takes like 15 minutes. So I'll just throw that in at the beginning of that stream. So a lot of Star Rail stuff tomorrow. So thank you to everybody who stopped by, and I hope to see you all next time.